Hey guys, my name is Damien, and we're going to be learning about what communication is and how it's used. Especially what we've been discussing over in Unit 3 with all of our discussion posts and all the things we've been talking about and everything in the readings. But just like throw all that to the side, what communication really is. Because outside of that, it is a word that we use a lot. It's a word that, you use in relationships, like romantic relationships, your work relationships, relationships with your friends, just like any kind of interpersonal interaction, even though sometimes, especially in modern days, it can be virtual. Communication is kind of key, kind of what we all do nowadays. That's how everyone does it because humans are a social creature. So what is communication and what does it do? How do we make sure all our needs are met and so are the others that we are communicating with? Because it's more than just blatant symbolisms and me just speaking words. Communication is a lot deeper than that. Communication defines who you are. It, in a way, gives you identity because it kind of defines if the way you communicate, the mannerisms, the way you act, the way you talk, the way you speak, the way you hold yourself, your tones, just the way you communicate kind of defines you as a person. Are you the smart guy? Are you the nerd guy? Are you quirky? Are you the weird one? Not weird, you can't say that nowadays, but that's a form of communication. How is communication used and how are the needs met? And why does it define who you really are? Because it's not just like something that is just thrown around, because communication is used even as the smallest infants. The moment a child is brought into this world, in any species of animals, a child is brought, and they all have one thing in common, is physically, they cry. Because they're either hungry, they're sick, or they did something, and they did something, especially in babies. That's why we gotta check their diapers. So, physically, that is a form of communication so they can get their needs met. That's why I was stating earlier, communication is a way to really make sure you get your needs met. On top of that, also psychologically, especially in relationships. Because if you're in a relationship and you're telling them, hey, you're speaking to your mom, hey, I need this, I need space, I cannot breathe. Psychologically, that's going to take a toll on you. It's going to affect your mental and the way you communicate with others. Mentally, it will change who you are as a person. So communicating things that you psychologically need is a way to make sure you get your needs met. So you will be communicating in a relationship. Let's say you want something simple, hey, I want to do this, right? Or this is bothering me. You're communicating that to get your need met. That's an easy example because most people are going to relate to that. Most people are going to understand that, when it comes to communicating, the first thing first, the reason why it's even been used was to get your needs met. Even down to prehistoric times, not prehistoric, but caveman types. Now, even down with them, you're going to get, they were grunting to communicate. Hey, things are over here, animals. That's all just it's a form of communication. Sorry, I gotta flip to my next page of notes to make sure I'm keeping up. However, communication is learned. Point blank simple, communication is learned, and that's why it's my second point. Because communication is forms of mannerisms, symbols, and the way things just kind of go. That's why you can notice the way people talk, the way people speak and act is always gonna be completely different. So, the way we greet people. Me and a dude from South Florida, maybe down there in Miami, we're not gonna greet people the exact same. We're not gonna talk to people because we are learning new things constantly, So greetings, all of our slangs, all of the terms. Have you ever realized how it's never the same in different areas? It's not just culture, it's also just things that are like, it's learned. You're going to learn to speak a certain way just from your friends, from your family, your upbringing, things you're willing to communicate, So, like, things aren't innately learned. The way we speak, the way we talk, you don't just come out being born saying, hey, I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to speak to, English. I'm going to speak to you in Portuguese. You don't know these language off rip. You don't know any of these. You have to be taught them. You're learning them. Like in the textbook, it says the way you greet your teachers. Hey, how you doing? Fine. Great. Keep it pushing. Other people say, hey, what's up, man? How you doing? You break that barrier, you're more calm. So that kind of, brings it into like how you are learned to communicate, and that kind of stems out into my third point, which is society and culture. So the way we speak, the way we act, how we will speak, what we will speak about, what we will communicate. Like I just saw a documentary about a cult, point blank simple. I just watched a documentary about a cult. They won't talk about certain things. They are not going to go discuss certain things. They won't have their women cannot speak in certain tones because of their culture and the type of society that they're a part of. While as me, I'm from Brooklyn, so we have a different culture. We have a different society. We're more willing to talk about things and be very front and blunt, versus there's a lot of people that are willing to sugarcoat it, and that is all due to your society and the culture you've been raised in. Another thing is like, not even on top of that, because communication is just what we do. So that goes with body language, the way we dress, the way we hold ourselves. It's all a form of communication, right? And a way that plays into that is what we deem as okay and not okay, and a way to really learn about other people, other cultures, and understand all these different forms of communication all the way around us is to really just go out and expose yourself. Personally, for me, I feel like there's no better thing than just to hardcore expose yourself to another culture and just really dive into that world so you can see everything firsthand. Yeah, you can read on a book or watch YouTube, but that's not really it. Society and cultures are learned through actually being there. You'll hear them communicate. You'll see how they communicate and in what ways. How does their society and their culture and everything really affect them? So in conclusion, communication is more than just, your basic, you're interpreting messages and you're just receiving and giving. It's more than just that. It is who you are, who I am. It is why humans are such social creatures. We define ourselves through the way we communicate, the way we are. Like, if someone is serious, you define them as serious because of the way they communicate. So, it takes learning. You have to learn about others so you know how to communicate and learn with others. It's truly just like one of the biggest things. And that is it. My name is Damien.